Okay, so the next part that we're going to learn about in slope is writing equations, okay? So we're going to first start at looking at equations in slope-intercept form, okay? There are also two more equations that we will look at after called point-slope form and standard form, okay? But for today we're going to stick with slope-intercept form, okay? If you remember from the last video, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if we look, all of these equations are in slope-intercept form. Okay, these over here are not. Okay, notice we have an m, an x, and a b. Okay, you might think, well, these down here don't, but it's 1x plus 0, right? Here it's really 0x plus 5. Okay, so we can make them into slope-intercept form. Again, here, plus 0. This one is not because we have the x in the denominator, okay? When the x is in the numerator, it's the same as 1/2 x. Okay, what does m represent? The slope. And b, the y-intercept. Okay, so if we know that the equation of the slope-intercept is the line that has slope of 2. If we know that the slope is 2, and we know that the y-intercept is 6, it's fairly easy to fill in, okay? So we already know m, it's 2, and we already know b is 6. So we just simply write it as y equals 2x plus 6. Okay, we're just filling in for m and b. Okay, let's do this one together. Here we know that the y-intercept is equal to -3, and the slope is equal to -4. Okay, so I just have to put in y equals slope -4x, y-intercept -3. Okay, so the second type is when you might have the slope of the line and a point that goes through that line. Okay, so we already have one thing. We already have the slope, which is 3. Okay, so now in order to find the y-intercept, we have to fill in a little bit of information. Okay, so I'm going to use these points, x and y. So my original is y equals mx plus b. Okay, so here I know that y is 1. So where y is, I'm going to put 1. The slope m is 3. And x here we have is 2. Okay, so I filled in everything that I know. Now I can do 1 equals 6 plus b, and I'm going to try and get b alone. So b is equal to -5. Okay, so now I have my b. So when we're writing the equation, we are just filling in for m and for b. So y is equal to 3x minus 5. Okay, I'm just filling in the slope and b. So your final answer would be y equals 3x minus 5. Okay, so try this one on your own. Pause the video for a moment. Okay, alright, so what you should have had is that you already know that the slope is -4. Okay, and we don't know the y-intercept, which is b. So we can fill in x and y because we know these. So if I have my original, I can fill in y, which is -1, m is -4, and x is 1. Okay? So -4 times 1 is -4. Solve for b. So b is equal to 3. Okay, now I can write my equation just filling in for m and for b. Y is equal to -4x plus 3. Okay, so to write an equation in slope-intercept form when you only have 2 points, okay, we first need to find the slope. Okay, so remember that slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so I'm going to call this point x1 y1. I'm going to call this one x2, y2. Okay, and remember, it doesn't matter as long as one whole set is 1 and one whole set is 2. Okay, so y2, so I have 2. Okay, so if we look here, we want to write the equation of the line that goes through the 2 points. Okay, so the first thing that I did here was I found the slope. Okay, so here I wanted to have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so when I subtracted here, I found out that 0 over negative 5. Okay, 0 divided by anything is 0, which means my slope is going to be equal to 0. I also know that that's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, so now I found m and I need to get b. So I'm going to choose one of the points. I chose 2, 2. So that means that x was 2 and y is 2. Okay, so then down here in my original equation, I plugged in 2 for y, 0 for m, and 2 for x. Okay, so then I get that b is equal to 2. So now I'm just going to take b and m and fill it into my equation. So y is equal to 0x plus 2. Okay, 0 times x is just 0, so you would always see this kind of equation written as y is equal to 2. Okay, I'm going to skip through this one as well as this. Okay, so here I see that I want to find the slope and the intercept. Okay, so the first equation you see is y is equal to 2/3 x. Okay, anytime there's not a y, it means that it's plus 0. Okay, so here on my graph I started at the y-intercept of 0, and I saw that my slope was 2 over 3. So they're both positive, so I went up 2 and to the right 3. So from my y-intercept, rise 2, run 3, and connect the points. Okay, for the next one, when you see y is equal to 5, that means that y is always 5. X can be anything, okay? So the way that we get y equals 5, it's really y equals 0x plus 5, okay? And anytime we have 0x, we know that our slope is 0, which is horizontal, okay? So I'm going to plot at 0, 5, okay? And then all of these other points are at y equals 5. Okay, and then you simply connect the line, connect the dots, and you have your graph. Okay, so if we want to look at an equation that starts off in standard form, okay, we want to find the slope and the y-intercept and then graph. So the first thing I'm going to do is write this equation in slope-intercept form. So what I've already done here is I have subtracted 5, okay, so I want to get just y by itself. So now I have negative 3, here I have negative 3y is equal to negative 5x plus 6. Then to get y alone I need to divide both sides by 3. Here I have divided by 3. On the left I have y by itself. A negative divided by a negative is positive. 5 over 3x. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. Okay? Another way to rewrite this, instead of having plus negative 2, is y is equal to 5/3 x minus 2. Okay? So the next step is to graph. So here I started my graph at negative 2 on the y. I rose 5, I went up 5 and to the right